Jane Austen was born on the 16th of December 1775 in the county of Hants. She developed a taste for literature through her father's collection of literature. She first relocated to Bath with her family when she was 27 due to her father's retirement, and relocated again to Chawton Cottage with her mother and sister due to financial situation. She died, unmarried and childless, on the 18th of July 1817 in Winchester, with Northanger Abbey and Persuasion published after her death. Firstly, it was the last finished novel that Austen wrote. She battled her sickness by herself while rewriting the last 2 chapters of the manuscript. Next, it was the most mature and melancholic work of Austen. The story deeply touched about the social customs and expectations during the Regency era and how it affects the protagonist, Anne Elliot. After that, this work bore several similarities with Austen's personal life. For example, Austen and Anne Elliot were both highly intelligent women who would refuse marriage for money instead of love, a feat that was uncommon during that time. Firstly, the digital age allows like-minded people to gather and discuss their topics of interest, which includes persuasion. In discussion websites such as Reddit, one could easily find and participate on the discussions about persuasion, ranging from overall comments of the story to debates about the characters. After that, the digital convenience allows everyone around the world to share their favorite elements of persuasion in a simpler format. For example, a quick search on image sharing websites such as Pinterest would reveal the numerous pictures of persuasion excerpts or quotes in a creative and beautiful edit. Next, persuasion has also been hit by the wave of meme, which generally means jokes that are circulated in the internet through various forms like images and short videos. This can be found by a quick search on image sharing websites like Tumblr, where a text joke about persuasion would be edited on funny images or the characters' images from the movie adaptations. A link where this can be seen is in the description. Next, the digital age has also allowed readers to easily find out more information on persuasion from websites dedicated for persuasion or Jane Austen, apart from the information found on the original text. For example, websites such as Jane Austen Society of North America provides a persuasion page where viewers can have additional information about the story, such as the responses it got when it was first published. A link where this can be seen is in the description. Furthermore, the digital humanities also allows for professional articles to be written about persuasion and distributed in a faster and more efficient way. For example, various online articles can be found on websites like Vox, where one could easily read a professional critique and review about the work that can attract people to read the original novel. The plot of the story is about Anne Elliot, a shy, middle-born daughter of the Elliots, who, unlike her father and sister, was not interested in climbing up the social ladder. Anne was reunited with her ex-fiancé, Captain Wentworth, who she rejected because of the persuasion by her godmother, Lady Russell, and desperately tried to keep her feelings for him in check, as she was convinced that their feelings were no longer mutual. When came a marriage interest for Anne by the promising Mr. Elliot, the jealous Captain Wentworth wrote Anne a love letter detailing his lingering feelings for her, not knowing that Anne does not intend to pursue a relationship with Mr. Elliot after knowing his underlying scheme. And she and Captain Wentworth ended up together in the end. The theme of this story is staying true to oneself even when it strays from the norms. Throughout this story, Anne is obedient to every request from other people, which costed her initial engagement with Captain Wentworth. It is thanks to her friendship with Mrs. Smith that she knew Mr. Elliot's scheme, a feat that would not be achieved had she succumbed to her father's ridicule towards Mrs. Smith. The subject matter is social class. For example, Anne was persuaded not to marry Captain Wentworth because he was beneath her social class, and Anne was made fun of by her father for preferring Mrs. Smith's acquaintance rather than Lady Dalrymple's, as it is obvious who belonged to a higher social class. Firstly, it depicts the element of prioritization of one's feelings. This can be seen in Anne Elliot would rather marry for true love than for wealth and social status. Next, detachment towards social conventions. This can be seen when Anne would rather settle in a small house in her neighborhood than the town of Bath. After that, the vivid and exaggerated descriptions of one's emotional state. This can be seen in the letter Captain Wentworth wrote Anne, describing his intense love for her. The movie that will be used for the comparison is the movie Persuasion that came out in 2022. The first difference is, the movie starts off with a focus of Anne and Captain Wentworth's previous love affair, but the novel starts off with a narration about Sir Walter Elliot's family and his concerns for their social status. The second difference is, in the movie, Anne showed signs of displeasure about being sent off to Mary's, but in the novel, she was glad to be sent off as she prefers the countryside than Bath. The third difference is, in the movie, Captain Wentworth found out that Charles Musgrove wanted to marry Anne initially but was rejected during the dinner with the Crofts because Anne blurted it out. But in the novel, it was Louisa who told him during their conversation near the Hayterses. In my opinion, the adaptation did not succeed. Firstly, I feel that the adaptation overwrote Anne Elliot's character for the majority of the movie. While in the novel, Anne Elliot was described as a wallflower who was often overlooked by the others, including her own family, Anne Elliot in the movie was loud and did not hesitate to voice her thoughts directly, even saying some sarcastic remarks to Elizabeth Elliot. Next, the movie had too much modern references to the point of oddity. While it is completely understandable that some choices of words had to be changed for young viewers, especially for the younger generations, I personally feel that some lines such as, "He's a 10, I never trust a 10, is simply too out of place, as the setting was still in the Regency period. After that, I feel that the movie failed to convey some emotional scenes with the depth they deserved. For example, in the novel, I perceived that the scene where Louisa told Captain Wentworth that Charles Musgrove initially wanted to marry Anne but was rejected due to persuasion as an emotional scene, as Anne, who overheard the conversation between the two, felt agitated as she thought that she was being judged by Captain Wentworth. While in contrary, Captain Wentworth might feel that the information served as a sliver of hope for him, seeing that he was interested about the information. However, in the movie, the information was revealed during a dinner with the Crofts, due to Anne's own outburst that was frankly out of character, and was met with awkward reactions by the others at the dining table. Furthermore, I feel that the movie prioritizes the romance too much. During my time reading the novel, I personally think that the social class issues was also another important subject for the story, as it was the main reason Lady Russell persuaded Anne to reject Captain Wentworth in the first place. And it was also one of the most important aspects that separated Anne from the rest of the characters, as she never bothered about it, while her family and Lady Russell obsessed over it. It was also thanks to her friendship with Mrs. Smith, whom her family regards as inferior to them, that Anne knew about Mr. William Elliot's true nature, whereby in the movie, Mr. William Elliot himself told Anne about his true intention, and she even considered him as a potential partner, something that I personally think is done to heighten the romance drama. Additionally, I personally felt that the movie compromised the relevance of persuasion in the modern times. This is due to the fact that for me, Anne Elliot is not exactly a heroine commonly seen in fictions, as she mostly kept to herself, rarely expressed her thoughts, and while she does not exactly conform to the social classes, she does not directly confront it either, as when she only kept quiet when her father made fun of her relationship with Mrs. Smith. I thought that Anne was a rare representation of the women who does not dare to speak up, and are still hassled by the pressure to fit in society's norm, which is something that still exists today. Therefore, I felt that the movie erased that representation for something that is more relatable, or in other words, fit better in society's norm, which causes some out-of-place scenes such as Anne day drinking and talking about her dream about an octopus out loud.